What's happening? Cut test time. Microtech LUDT Gen 2. We're going to cut test this baby. I'm going to strap it up real quick just because I've been using it all week and I want to make sure it's got a nice fresh edge for the test. I've really been enjoying carrying this thing, man. Really have. Usually what happens with me when I buy an automatic knife is I love it for about a week and then I kind of just lose interest in it. But with this one, so far so good. I'm really liking it so far. And we will see if that changes. I'll let you know. Blade steel here is 204P. Actually, you know what? That's wrong. It is M390MK. So it's Microtech's version of M390. They just changed a couple little things so that they could call it their own thing. It'll perform pretty much like M390. It came nice and sharp. Very sharp, actually. And we're cutting some cardboard. Some double thickness cardboard. Going with the grain the easy way. And this thing is a slicer. Probably the sliciest, well, definitely the sliciest Microtech I've ever tried. This seems to me like one of their more EDC-friendly knives. It might be the most EDC-friendly knife they make, unless there's one I'm unaware of. But it's got pretty thin blade stock. It's ground thin. It's the overall profile is thin and easy to carry, lightweight. It's a great EDC knife, man. Going the hard way on the cardboard, pretty much just as easy. This thing is, it's just slicey, man. It's just slicey, okay? Now this is a Tanto blade shape, and as you'll see here in a minute, not great for utility cutting. You could raise up all the way to get to the primary tip, way up there. Kind of uncomfortable, and even when you're there, it doesn't cut great. And trying to use the secondary tip there, the corner of the Tanto, and that didn't really work either. So it'll work in a pinch, and keep in mind this is the double thickness cardboard, so it'll be better on regular cardboard. But yeah, utility cutting, not great with this knife, and that's to be expected, you know. But it is what it is. That primary tip, since it is a Tanto, is pretty thick. You know, the purpose of a Tanto blade shape is to have a very strong tip for piercing and prying, and so it's very thick and just doesn't want to utility cut very well. Let's roll up this leather glove and do some cutting on it. Really nice, man. This is kind of what I was hoping would happen. Using this Tanto pretty much like belly on a drop point, you know. Starting with the tip and then rocking back and, you know, pinching that material, and it pops it, cuts it nicely. Same concept on the Cecil rope here. Starting up on the Tanto, rocking back, and it's working. It's working very nicely. Probably not quite as easy as like a regular drop point, but pretty close, man. Pretty close. I've never really carried a Tanto regularly, so I'm interested to see how, you know, just how it is, you know. Generally, a drop point or, you know, sheep's foot with belly is kind of my favorite blade shape. But there might be some uses that I'll find that this Tanto is really good at. So we'll find out. Same concept here with the rubber tubing, kind of rocking back on the quote-unquote belly of the knife there. It's working great. So, you know, Tanto is great at piercing because it has a strong tip. I don't really do piercing tasks. But maybe I'll come across one. I don't know. Let's do this 2-inch strap. This is the last of it. I only have enough for one cut. I need to go buy more. But it got pretty far, man. You know, the thing with the Tanto is it's got a lot of straight edge before it hits that secondary edge and goes up to the Tanto. So a lot of straight edge. That's good for, you know, cutting cardboard. You don't slip out of your cut very easily. And straps and things like that. And testing our edge, it's held up pretty good, man. We're still cutting paper. It's definitely dulled a little. But we are still cutting paper. So that's great. Let's give it a quick strop, see how quickly this M390 MK strops up. And then we'll bring out the edge killer rope, see how many times we can cut that before we are dull. Takes a little longer to strop this knife because you have to, you know, strop both edges separately. You know, with the drop point, you kind of just roll up to the tip. Yeah, you might be able to do that on the Tanto, but I think it's better to just do them separately. Let's drop the straight edge. Change your angle and then do the other edge. Okie dokie, yeah, that's dropped back pretty good. Let's see, we're pretty near just as sharp as we were when we started. The blade stock thickness was, I think, 124 thousandths, and behind the edge was a little magic trick for you there. Behind the edge was, I think, like 16 thousandths. And then up at the Tanto tip, it was like 22 thousandths. That cut it actually really easily. I was surprised. Nice clean cut, too. And let's see, did it make it? Surely did, baby. Very nice. Let's go again. Definitely has dulled a little bit. More sawing needed to get through the rope this time. But still cut very cleanly. It's still cutting, but at the end it rips. You see at the end of the cut, the paper rips instead of cuts. So yeah, it's definitely being affected by the rope, but pretty surprising how well that edge held up, honestly, yeah. You know, people sometimes talk shit about Microtech and how their HRCs are on the softer side, their hardness is not where it should be. I haven't really noticed that, at least practically, you know, using the knife, it has never really seemed soft to me. The other Microtech I'm referring to is the Stitch that I owned, and that seemed to hold an edge just fine. And that was the same steel, I believe. Just getting a feel for the ergos here, you know. When you're carving out chunks of wood like this, you're gripping the knife really hard, and there's a lot of pressure coming through the cut into your hand. And I'm noticing this jimping where your pinky lands is not great. I don't think that is a good placement right there. That should be just smooth. Because it was really digging into my pinky right there. So, and I didn't notice it at all throughout the whole cut test until I got to the wood. So just regular cutting, you're not going to notice it. Just when you really bear down on it and grip it hard is when you'll feel that. Aside from that, you know, it's the handle is on the skinny side, so it doesn't really fill out your hand, you know, really super nicely like maybe some other knives would, but it's fine. The choke up spot is not super defined. It's not like a forward finger choil, but there is room for your finger to go right there, and it works. Definitely works. Overall, I'm really liking it. I really am liking it. I like the design. It just looks badass. I was kind of worried about the clip riding on top of that rubbery inlay stuff, but it's really not an issue. because it's not like a sharp texture grippiness. It's more of just like a rubberiness. That makes any sense. So it's actually not an issue, which is great. So there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. You think it did well? Would you buy one? That's it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.